Hello and welcome to Friday Evening Trains. It is Friday evening, so it's time for some trains. Yep. So, tonight we are going to be starting up in Scotland. And we are going to be driving 2L07, the 0733 Larkhall to Dalmuir service, as far as the low-level platforms of Glasgow Central. 0. That's all we get for a description. But yeah, it's a snowy morning, and that's the service we're running. So we're doing a little bit of South Suburban Glasgow service here. Nothing too crazy. Rush hour commuter. Pretty cool. As far as TS announcements go, the Mariah's Pass scenario pack was released today. They better get on board and start moaning about the route. The real life one or the TS one, Code Monkey? As well as the announcement of TS Classic, which we will, or TS 2022 Classic, which I will get into in a minute. Oh, is it? Interesting. Good evening as well. All right, well, again, okay. So, ooh, that's nice. So TS 2022 Classic is a route package that was announced yesterday. I don't really get the point behind it. Basically, it kind of centers around the Dresden Riesa route extension for an extension for the Dresden to Riesa route to Leipzig. Good morning, driver. Open the doors and let passengers on. Departure time is 7:33. Our headlights on. No AWS self-test. So platform lights. But yeah, it's an extension of the Dresden to Riesa route to Leipzig. And it also includes West Coast Main Line South and Tehachapi Pass. I think there's a couple of updates that are being tossed on. I don't know that those were enumerated. Oh, that's right. It's so Tehachapi Pass is including the ES44 brake systems and updated terrain textures, as well as the screenshot in the article shows the branded containers that we've become accustomed to with TSW. So it looks like we're getting ONE, Hamburg Sud, and Hapag Lloyd branded containers for Tehachapi Pass, which is pretty cool. And if you own any of the routes included, hello Ben. If you own any of the routes included with the game, or with the package, you will receive those updates for free. So if you already have Tehachapi Pass, like I do, you're gonna get the terrain texture improvement and the brake brake system upgrade. Right away, next stop is Meryton. Arrival time is 7:35. Can't even respond. Yes, you do need more than one container, Code Monkey. You're very right. So I made this scenario before I had picked up Suburban Glasgow. So if I had it to do over again, I probably would have used the 320 with that. Just because this is such an old model. That, really shows its age. I mean, it's fine for AI. Like, I don't think it even has Dalmuir as a... No, I think I just went with blank. And if you don't want to drop the coin on TS Classic, then the extension for Dresden Risa will be available separately. Hey, it's Leipzig. Leipzig Risa. So that might be the dealer upgrade center. Do you reckon they're just embracing Classic to separate it from TSW? I don't really know. There was a couple comments in the Facebook post that I think we're supposed to kind of clear it up. It doesn't sound like it's the end of the yearly upgrades. Honestly, I think this is just kind of a cash grab. I really don't understand what they're trying to do. They said something about, like, classic box art or some crazy thing like that in one of the replies. All I really care about is that I get the upgrades to Hatchapie. Right away, next stop is Chateau Herald. Oh boy. Arrival time is 7:38.5. The downside of running a Scottish route with Scottish viewers. I'm about to get yelled at for butchering that. No doubt. So yeah, I really don't know what all this TS Classic is about. Because it's essentially, it's not a separate game, and it's not even, like, a rebrand of the game. It's literally just a root package. Descending a pretty good 1 in 77. Shadowlero. It's weirdly French for someplace in Scotland. I'll just leave it at that. They're making good time, though. Alright, let me see if I can pull a Facebook announcement. Oops, I wanted to... Oh no, it does say that this is what TS-22 will soon be known as. Okay, I missed that. Right away, next stop is Hamilton Central. Arrival time is 7:43. Yes, and the surrounding area, as far as I know, is called Fernie-Gare, so... I don't know if this is... I mean, they did clarify that there's definitely still, you know, lots of content, you know, that's coming for TS1, so they're not abandoning it. So yeah, I think you might be right, Code Monkey. I think it's just a good way for them to distinguish it from TSW. So I don't know why they're not just like launching it as a rebrand. And why? Because it's just confusing that they're just launching this random root package if that's what they're going to rename the game to. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense to me. Because it's very clear that it's not a separate game. You know. You're going to be able to buy Leipzig Risa, you know, as a separate route if, you know, you don't want the other two, or if you already have the other two. You get you don't have to buy Tehachapi again to get the updates. So this is just rather a confusing move, I guess. I guess I don't totally see the point. Unless they're really that concerned about, you know, people being that confused between TSW and TS1. Which is fair because literally every time they announce a DLC for TS1 on Facebook, the comments are littered with morons going, "Is it coming to console?" And it's like, no, it's not for that game. They look nothing alike. I don't know how people are this dumb, but... But yeah, I have to agree. It is very curious. So at the end of the day, all I really care is that there's more content coming out for the game. You know. If they do move away from yearly updates, it is what it is. It's been really the last few. All they've been is they changed the UI and then they changed the background image. I don't think they've made really any core game changes for years now. Probably not since 2016. TS 2016. So on your right, a sand drag. Not, as I thought, a former goods yard. Ooh, interesting. Ooh, we're a little bit late now. You gotta drive this one pretty aggressively. No, that's a bus depot, excuse me. That be somewhere back over here? Right away, next stop is Hamilton West. Arrival time is 7:46. Nah, just at the station exit. Ah. Oh, I see where this car park is. Protects the single line, although it was originally double. Something to do with okay. Talking about this right here. Yeah, that probably has something to do with like flank protection. Probably as a result of Ladbroke Grove. Originally double. Yeah. Must be. Something to do with visual clearance. So yeah, to kind of wrap up my thoughts about the whole TS Classic thing. If that's what they're gonna call it, that's fine. I would hope that if they're not gonna do yearly updates, they're going to sit down and address some of the long-standing complaints, about the game. Issues with the signaling system, sounds, the stability. Useless tidbit. 390s have route clearance around this section for diversions. That makes sense. It's kind of funny having them to imagine. Yeah, kind of funny to imagine them having to do a big loop, down, back up through Motherwell, and then back around by Mossend to get back south. Let's pull her down. A little late here as well. So I guess we'll see what happens when they officially launch the TS Classic rebrand, but I mean, as far as the whole thing is concerned, meh. I don't think it's anything to get worked up about either way, so. Oh. Yep, we got a fail. Our next stop is Blantyre. Oh, it's B to respond to the guard. I don't know, there's not much else to talk about. There's kind of a dearth of content announcements lately. Which I get is in part because of the March Madness sale. They don't tend to announce stuff during sales, but surprisingly enough, Digital Train Model hasn't been posting since the F3 was released, and that was coming up on a month ago. Larius Games has just been continuing to tease their new route, but they haven't made any formal announcement yet. Milepost has posted a couple of more teaser images of their upcoming route. All we know is that it's going to be set in the 1940s and about 50 miles long, so. But it does feature Steam. So the prevailing theory is that it's something on the Rio Grande Southern with the narrow gauge network. But as yet, there have not been any confirmations, and there probably won't be for a while. I suspect not till closer to the end of the year when it actually is to be released. Right away, next up is Newton. Arrival time is 7:54. We got Newton, Cambuslang, Weather Glen, Dalmuir, Bridgeton, Argyle Street, Glasgow. Jesus, I didn't think we had that far to go. Did I go all the way to Anderston? Oh no. Where did I think Anderston was? That's weird. But the low-level line is shut. Anderson's getting a new lift and general improvements on the rest of it. Track maybe. Lots of chaos. Ah, okay. I wonder if Anderson's the portal. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yep. That's what it is. Little mystery solved. It's Network Rail. Of course it's Months of Chaos. What's up, Jessica? Just a little heavy on the throttle there. Not the throttle, the brake. Don't want to get those confused. Flashing yellow, which is a diverging. Whoosh. Nice, nice. Shaking it up. Get the feeling. I moved desks today at work, so kind of a similar situation. We just nosed it a little too far. So Newton, of course, is one of the termini of the Glasgow circular route for TSW. So exterior is dark Brunswick green, and the interior is Tuscan red. Very nice. So, we're not going to be taking that route. We are going to be getting on the fast lines over to our right. Right away, next stop is Cambuslang. Arrival time is 7:57. We are heading, of course, towards Glasgow Central. In the down direction. In the up direction, the line goes towards Motherwell as part of the West Coast Main Line. So we are diverging off here. In fact, before the WCML was fully electrified, this bit adjacent here was wired up because of the other line. Ah, okay. So you can see our speed limit has gone up to 80 since we're on the actual main line. Which makes it real fun to have to stop here at Cambuslang. System okay. I'm glad it's okay. Right away, next stop is Rutherglen. Arrival time is 8 o'clock and a half. Genie, I know what I want. Genie, I wish every rail line was electrified PRR style and every railroad in the world was not the PRR. That's quite a wish. Then it really would be the standard railway of the world. Because it'd be the only railway of the world. Flashing double yellow here, as we are going to be getting on the slow lines here. Planetary Railroad. Yeah, there you go. We are going to be joining the Carmyle line from Whifflet which will then become the slow line as we head in towards Rutherglen. These are flashing single yellow. Speed signs are badly placed ahead. No doubt. I think I do remember that from testing this. So we have a feather indicating that we're going to be crossing several lanes of traffic. We're going to be crossing... Stop that. We're going to be crossing all the way from the down fast here to the down slow and into Rutherglen Station. Passing through a neutral section. Not that this route or this train have neutral section functionality, but they're there. In spirit. That it would. I think we need some PRR liveried class 68s. Ooh, how about a Tuscan Red Azuma? We're probably going to get a tick here, or an X here as well. We're pretty late. Oh, no. Right away. Next stop is Dalmuir. Arrival time is 8:03 1/2. Eh. So we speed a little bit, who cares? I'm no good at it, but I'll teach you how reskins work. Actually, the Deltec might be able to carry it off as we're sort of styling. Yeah! So I said that... Yeah, definitely tiny platform here. Well, like freight locomotives, you would give the Brunswick green, just the straight Brunswick green. With the yellow Pennsylvania Railroad text, but most of your passenger stuff would probably get the Tuscan red. If the Stagger's Rail Act came and Pensy was able to abandon profitable lines, most players just these units much sooner. The railroad might still be here. The Central to become the Penn Central. See, the problem with right away, next stop is Bridgeton. Arrival time is 8:05 and a half. The problem with them buying diesels earlier was their operating philosophy. When the first diesels were coming out, they ordered all those T1s that they ended up using for like 10 years, if that. I'm not saying it couldn't necessarily have been done. I just don't think it would have been very likely. Corporate structure believes team was so valuable. Research is the J1 during World War II. Yeah, exactly. I remember I was reading the T1s and Pensy's first E units arrived on the property at basically the same time. And while the T1s had nothing but trouble when they first came on the scenes, the E's performed more or less flawlessly. On the Harrisburg to Detroit train, I think it was. And they did that run perfectly for many, many months until they needed their wheels trued because they had been running so much. And nobody right away, next stop is Argyle Street. Arrival time is 8:09. And none of the higher ups believed the Warburys proved their worth at the war until the captain is yeah. And nobody in the corporate structure believed that they had just been worn because of use. They thought there was something faulty with the wheels EMD put on them. Because when they told them they'd run something like almost 1 million miles since they'd been delivered. This was within 6 months. Something around that. They had already run something like, they had already run several 100,000 miles. And nobody believed them because the T1 that had the most usage in that same time span had traveled a total of 2,300. So it really was crazy how misguided, their attachment to steam was. That opening was the former site of Glasgow Green Station. Oh. Yeah. Little too much braking. Don't worry, it's only raining in an underground station. Wrong button. It's not even under the river. Right away, next stop is Glasgow Central. Arrival time is 8:11 and a half. Another leaky underground station. Not the only thing wrong with it. Oh dear. Is this not an accurate depiction of the Glasgow Central lower level platforms? Long stop here. I guess that makes sense. Well, they have been underwater, actually, but no snow usually. Please try again. Nah. I don't think so. Ooh. Alright. So since that one was a bit of a shorter one, we're going to... Improper horn units once. Up yours. We're going to stay on this side of the pond, but we are going to take a dip south of the border. So stay tuned. That last scenario was for the West Coast Main Line North route. This one is for the Great Western Main Line route and is Paddington Green. And again, it has a messed up description, but essentially we're just taking GWR HST from Didcot to Paddington with stops at Reading and Slough on the way. This one I don't think is to an actual timetable. Ooh, that was nice. Hello, driver. You have a clear run ahead of you into Paddington. Pick up passengers here at Didcot. Our lovely HST. Use the full HUD for this one. Oh, whoops. It's with the right headlights. So this is Didcot. That's the Didcot Train Center. This line is the Cord, as well as that one, which goes up towards Oxford, and out towards Morton Marsh and Hereford. That way is the Great Western Main Line towards Swindon, Bristol, and South Wales, as well as the West Country. Yep, Reading and Slough. Good, next stop is Reading. That HSD is backwards. This one probably is as well. Indeed it is. Oh boy. I don't think we're going to quite make it to 125. Excuse me. I don't think we're quite going to make it to 125 before we arrived at Reading. And in making a scenario like this with the 66 containers running towards London, so you race it. Oh, very nice. Yeah, this one's pretty old, as evidenced by the fact that the HSTs are all backwards. Backwards in the sense that the first class coaches aren't on the London end of the train, which you can tell by the fact that the buffet cars are not on the London end of the train. Timing came out so that you can beat it to Reading, but it passes while you wait. Oh, that's really cool. sure why a Freightliner 66 was hauling those tanks. Oh, that HST was facing the right way. Not sure why that 120 needs a Morpeth board warning, but... we're not going anywhere close enough to the speed limit for it to matter anyway. We've only just crossed 100. I'll regret this. Amtrak livery on an HST, A or nay? Yeah, I can't think of any Amtrak livery that wouldn't look good on an HST. Phase 3 might look a little odd. Okay, that one was backwards. We did get a nice motley livery, though. Or, assembly of coaches, I should say. Speed limit is going back up to 125. We are at 114. It's the nice thing about the slow acceleration of the HST. You can just park it and let it roll. There's AI in this, that's for sure. I thought that's a bad thing. Of course, in real life, this line has been octrified for a few years now. And instead of being the domain of the 166s and 165s, it is now the domain of 387s. Because every London commuter train set has to be an Electrostar. Unless you're in London Midland. London Northwestern. Then it's a Desiro. Or, I guess, also, Southwestern Railway. That's also a Desiro. Everything else has to be an Electrostar. Orbit board warning for an upcoming 50. See, it looks like we've got a flashing double yellow for turning off into our platform here. Verging off to the right is the lines towards Basingstoke and Westbury. Flashing single yellow now. On the right is Reading Triangle sidings. And the lines from Basingstoke and Westbury are joining back up here to head into the station. Came in quite early here. Oh yeah, there's a Reading to Red Hill. Okay. Route runs smooth at least. Yeah. I don't know. These old routes aren't bad. Just, certainly makes you appreciate the newer ones just a little bit more. Yeah, what are we doing? We're doing right around 40. Which is pretty good considering it has to basically be loading in the entirety of the classic European assets, so... Seriously? Good, next stop is Slough. There goes that networker. I don't think we're going to get up to 120 before we have to slow down for our stop at Slough either. Oh, that's right, Henley and Thames. The route on the right is actually missing third rail as per real life, as Waterloo to Southwestern Railways operates Reading to Waterloo services along that line, which is going to turn south in a minute towards, I believe, Ascot. I think it is. Or is it Alton? It just says Guildford. But there as well. Speed limit is up to 125 now. I think I've got one HST that's been facing the right direction in this scenario. God. Oh, it was the back of that signal. I thought it was a flashing double yellow for some reason. Reckon it was intentional or luck? It was probably luck. The racetrack passenger on one set of tracks, freight on the other. Well, actually, passengers do use the other set of tracks, as you can see right there. But if you want to imagine it like we just have two Zephyr tracks, then yeah, I could see it being analogous to the racetrack. The Zephyr track, referring to the middle track on the racetrack, middle of 3, which was used by the Zephyrs to get around all of the slower freight and commuter trains that, of course, use that route. We're now passing Twyford, where we are joined by the branch from Henley-on-Thames. The line towards Paisley from Glasgow, then a stretch of 3 bi-directional lines with platforms on the inside. Yeah, exactly like that. Oh, there, we had another one that was the right direction. That was also definitely just luck. Ooh, a rude idea. What you got, Jessica? Chicago, North Shore, and Milwaukee. Ooh, okay. Kind of an interurban-y type situation. Electrified. Had some weird kind of high-ish speed trains. I believe that actually tied into the CTA network within the city limits. Or at least before it was the CTA. The Chicago Transit Authority. Yeah, nice interurban route for passenger operations on the 6th. For sure. You could also have the Chicago South Shore and South Bend, which is also kind of an interurban. But you could set that in the modern day with its current passenger sets, or you could set it in like the 60s when they had the Little Joe Electrics. We're now passing Maidenhead, where we're being joined by the Bourne End and Marlow branch. Either from Chicago to Milwaukee or Chicago to Waukegan. Chicago to Waukegan might be a little short. Waukegan's the northern suburb of Chicago, so That's not that far from downtown, so I would say probably just go for broke and do it to Milwaukee. I believe that's inside 100 miles, so definitely doable. Running plenty early, and I don't want to overshoot the platform at Slough. Chicago have like one major station, or was it a bunch of termini, more like London? It used to be like that. As far as long distance train goes, long distance Amtrak trains go, it's pretty much just Chicago Union Station nowadays. But it does have several, a couple of other different stations for commuter trains. In addition to Chicago Union Station. So you also have Ogilvie Transportation Center and then LaSalle Street Station. In the olden days, you had quite a few stations, all of which had long-distance terminals. So here at Slough, we're being joined by the branch from Windsor and Eaton Central. So the Baltimore and Ohio, as well as several other roads that I can't remember off the top of my head, all used Chicago Grand Central, or Chicago Grand Terminal? Grand Central Terminal? Something similar to the one in New York. The Santa Fe, as well as a couple other roads, used Dearborn Station, which no longer exists. LaSalle on the Rock Island, and I believe on the New York Central. Both were used by that, as well as, again, a couple of smaller railroads. I believe Illinois Central had their own station downtown that I can't remember the name of. Yep, Dearborn on the Santa Fe. Burlington in Pennsylvania, as well as, again, many smaller roads. Well, actually, and the Milwaukee and the Sioux, I believe, all used one of the sides of Chicago Union Station. Chicago Union Station has a north side and a south side for platforms. Chicago Northwestern had the Northwestern Terminal, which is now the site of Ogilvie Transportation Center. GM&O also used, the Gulf Mobile in Ohio also used Union Station. Trying to think. I think that's it. I feel like I'm missing at least one. But yep, for sure. But yeah, now if you want to use an Amtrak train out of Chicago, Union Station is your only shot. From downtown, though, you do have... Oh, I forgot about Millennium Park Station, which is the one you have to use if you want to use the South Shore out to northern Indiana, or the Metro Electric District to... Oh, shoot, where does that go? Good, next stop is Paddington, where this train terminates. Oh god, where does the Metro Electric District go? Oh my gosh. University Park, I think it is. Yeah, University Park, which is in Blue Island. Yep. The stockyards actually being the setting of The Jungle by Upton Sinclair. Which, fun fact, the goal of that book, or Upton Sinclair's goal for that book was for it to start a socialist revolution in the United States. What it ended up causing was the creation of the Food and Drug Administration, as well as several food safety laws. Lots of stock cars came to Chicago before mechanical refrigeration allowed dressing beef closer to home. Yep. Everybody was supposed to read the book and see how terribly the workers were treated in the food processing facilities, and be all outraged at the poor working class immigrants being extorted by the big businessmen. But instead of that, everyone was horrified at what went into their food. Which is the most American goddamn thing imaginable. Yes, indeed. Although, interestingly enough, Kansas City is the busiest railway city in America in terms of annual tonnage. The branch from Thorny Mill? Oh no. Eastern meets Western routes. Yeah. Same general principle. I think there's also just a lot more through tonnage based on, as a virtue of it being, where, or just a location that both BNSF and Kansas City pass through and have major classification yards in, as well as being the point where Canadian Pacific and Kansas City Southern interchange a bit of traffic, and well, if the merger goes through where Kansas City or Canadian Pacific, Kansas Southern, or whatever the hell they want to call it, will also pass through Challenge. One of several cities where CSX, UP, BNSF, and so on. That's St. Louis you're thinking of, Jessica. CSX doesn't go to Kansas City. It's the city where BNSF, UP, Norfolk Southern, and Canadian Pacific, and Kansas City Southern meet. Well, I guess St. Louis, Memphis, New Orleans, and Chicago are all cities where BNSF, CSX, UP, and NS all meet. So overhead line equipment has started, which means this is about where we should have met the line from Heathrow Airport. Roughly. Somewhere in here. Is this? Yep, this is Hayes and Harlington, so somewhere around here should have been Heathrow Junction, I believe is what it's called. That reminds me, I saw something from video 125 or rail scene or something. They sell cab ride videos. One thing caught my ear. Ooh, what was that, Code Monkey? I believe this is that container train we were coming up on when we came into Slough. With board for a diverging 70-mile-an-hour speed limit. Ask 10 people to name the first railway junction they can think of. 9 will say, probably Clapham. Unless it is Heathrow, and that's the point you're getting at. I believe this is Southall Station we've just passed. But yeah, if I had to guess what the blank is, I'd probably say Clapham. Crew, huh? Interesting. But outside of so many mergers, we lost so many beloved railroads that are now flying flags. Yep. Yes, indeed. Yeah, no, I wouldn't have thought of crew either. That's interesting. Ealing Broadway. Yep, because there's all the underground lines which aren't electrified. Should we still have any of the fallen flags today, such as the MOPAC, Northwestern, and so on? I don't know, we probably would have a rail system that isn't as healthy. I feel like it's something different for the video, not so bad. Yeah, like, I don't know. I don't know why so many people would think of crew. Not that, like, I'm trying to, you know, dump on the people of the city of Crewe. Like, I'm sure it's a lovely city, but, like you're going to see name a railway junction on Family Feud. Yeah, no, I don't think Crewe would be it. And yeah, Family Feud is the correct, is the one you're thinking of. Old Oak Common Depot is on the left. Yeah, exactly. Jessica. I think that's the ultimate conclusion, is that, you know, you'd basically be setting yourself up for the same problems. Now, speaking of Ladbrook Grove, I swear to God, if I see one more backwards HST. The new Rock Island Rail Shoreline. Yeah, that was cool to see. The Rock Island Rail short line in Mississippi. Kind of weird that it's not on a line that's, you know, former Rock Island, but oh well. It is nice to see the Rock Island livery again outside of a museum, so can't complain too much. There's a short line up in Minnesota that operates on a former Northern Pacific line that uses a Northern Pacific inspired livery, even down to their logo. It even uses a version of the Monad, so that's pretty cool. But it's not any version of, like, you know, Northern Pacific. It's, you know, whatever it's called. I don't remember what it is. Just Rock Island doesn't have to do with the issues the OJ Rock Island has to deal with. For sure. Although one of the problems the OG Rock Island had to deal with was, you know, overbuilding in the Midwest, which would still be an issue. If we still had all of the classic railroads. Issues like soft ground. In some places, yeah. Let's see, there's an unmarked, I think it's a 20. Somewhere back here. We're plenty early, so. Well, that HST's right. Oh, it isn't. Oh, it's a 10. And the HSTs on either side of us are right. Uh-oh. Bit of a bump. What about this one? Well, that one's also facing the right way. Why are all these ones facing the right way? It was probably just luck. Let's put a hole in the fiberglass. Just a bit. I was too busy watching the other trains. Good job, driver. Now the driver will take over for the next run. I'd say it's tea time. Scenario complete. No, so the Rock Island Code Monkey refers to the Chicago, Rock Island, and Pacific Railroad, which was just colloquially known as the Rock Island. Yes, indeed, lit Twix. Rock Island is a city in Illinois on the Mississippi. Forms part of the Quad Cities region, which is Rock Island and Moline, Illinois, and then Davenport and Bettendorf, Iowa. So, yeah. Anyway, I am going to pick up the next scenario, and I will be right back. So the scenario description didn't pop up on the standard scenario screen, and this one requires a little bit of context. So we're just gonna drive it from here. It's gonna play the same. So although the Feather River Canyon is mostly used for unit trains, Union Pacific does operate a heavy A section of its North Platte to Roseville manifest to take advantage of the canyon's lesser grades. You're in charge of QNPRVA. You have stopped at Cresta for a meet and will be on your way shortly to Oroville for a crew change. And the Rock, like the Milwaukee Road, was built way too late and both struggled with numerous bankruptcies. Yep. So the Rock Island folded in 1980. The last time before that it had earned a profit was 1964. UP 84 and 86 West, this is dispatch. I have the westbound approaching Cresta. Due to the length of your train, I will not be holding you anywhere else between there and Orville. Dispatch out. As it is, we extend beyond the end of the train, or at the end of the siding. And I mean by quite a bit. Should probably have a DPU on this, honestly. Oh no, for sure. I just to illustrate how bad the situation was. The Rock Island didn't earn a profit for the last 16 years of its existence. And even then, that profit was extremely marginal. We have a bare table train. The BNSF bare table train. Gosh, Jessica, I can't believe you would use a word like tucked in my chat. How dare you? do like the signals for this route. Yep. Yeah, pretty much. At least the Rock Island had the benefit of serving the agricultural heartland of the U.S. Yeah, there you go. Especially once it got on the, especially once the Peoria rocket got onto the Peoria branch, I think the best it did was like 25. Most of it was like 10. Some bouncy track, but only for the yellow ones. So we're going to have to air brake this bad boy because I do not trust the dynamic brake script on the SC70 Ace. Mm-hmm. Although it is worth pointing out that several of the Rock Island's routes were cannibalized by other railroads when it folded. Um, Southern Pacific got the line between Tucumcari, New Mexico, and Kansas City. Union Pacific eventually came to own ones that were snapped up by the Katy and the, I believe even the Missouri Pacific. Chicago Northwestern got the so-called spine line between Kansas City and the Twin Cities. But yeah, quite a few of it was lost to time. And I think, yeah, somebody got the line from Kansas City to, not Kansas City, Henderson, Kansas to Pueblo. Or no. Colorado Springs? One of the two. And yeah, Iowa Interstate operates the former main line between Blue Island, which is outside of Chicago, and Council Bluffs. Which is across the river from Omaha, Nebraska. Yep. Only as far as... Not Utica. Shoot, I can't think of what the town is. I think you mean the IAIS. Which, actually, I think they're shutting that down. I don't remember why, but they had one last excursion with the steam engines. All right, let's see here. Juliet, Nuka. Was it? I didn't think it was Utica. It's not all the way to Peru. I have to look at it. I don't think so. I don't think I was going to say anything about this scenario. But yeah, in regards to the Iowa Interstate Steam Program, I'm pretty sure something about behind it. Oh, I don't know. Forgot to change that. Unless it was just using the air brakes because I don't trust the dynamic brakes. Which you should not do on locomotives this old. Oh, I will say though, Jessica, I did break down and nab the Shasta line in the March Madness sale. It's a very nice route. I've enjoyed it. Excuse me, I've enjoyed it quite a bit. Okay, what's with that structure? It was probably a hydroelectric dam. Yep. It's just a weirdly shaped hydroelectric dam. I guess. I don't know. It might have been public at this time. This route is set in the 60s. Oh, it might be worth trying to find. I just don't want to miss the double bridges at Polga. There's Oroville. Oh, there we go. Polga bridges. So it should be... There's the bridges. So it should be somewhere... There it is. Oh, it is gated in real life, so... Oh, this is the Po Power Dam. So there's a gate right across here. According to Street View. So, yeah, I don't know. Street View's from 2012, so it's not the best picture. It's also a lot of trees, which is kind of annoying. Ah, okay, yeah. So, it's not modeled, but there is... It looks like... It's hard to tell from the picture. But on this tower here, there's a staircase that goes up to... Oh no. So this is just the frame of the structure. So yeah, there's a staircase that goes up here. So there's a notch, yeah, in the wall here for the staircase. So yeah, it must be some kind of observation structure or way for them to get up to the road from... If they need to drive some kind of service vehicle on this, would be my guess. If you search for the Polga Bridges on Google Maps, Code Monkey, it's like just slightly up the river from that. So going east, which is opposite the way we're going. So of course the legendary Polga Bridges here. So up here, the Arch Bridge carries California Route 70 across the river here. And obviously this bridge carries the railroad across the river. Very famous location. In real life, there is a scenic overlook somewhere around here. Only for detours, Jessica. Only for detours. Does the Californias ever go this way? But yeah, it would be nice. Actually, I have it open. I wonder if I can find that overlook. But there's an overlook. Ooh, that'd make a nice shot. Feather River Canyon would be good for chasing. Wow. Let's see. Find the bridges here. Can't believe this street view is from 2012. Alright. Wasting my time. Okay, no, that's not it. Narrow bridge. That instills confidence. Well, that's kind of one. Not very big, though. I also can't see anything through all the trees. Well, that's obviously not it. It's closer, though. It's farther back than I think. Nope. That could be it. Huh. Can't find it. Polga Road do? Look at this at a street view. How does this have a more recent street view than the... Oh, never mind, because it's a user contributed. It's like... Alright, anyway. Lame. Alright, fine. Well, then you get no passenger trains through the Feather River Canyon, Jessica. Is that what you want? I don't think UP moves allowed to move. No. No, they really don't. That's mainly just heavy unit trains. Many, many trees in the background that can cover. Oh, yeah. No shortage of trees in this part of the land. Oh, because UP doesn't want to mess with it. Guarantee you this. And besides which, it's not as direct a route as Donner Pass is. I think it adds like 70 miles. And misses more of the population centers. Amtrak would have to give up serving Reno directly, which I'm sure they don't want to do. The whole thing's not 25 miles an hour, Code Monkey. I mean, yeah, you can make that argument, but from a purely business perspective, extend the capital corridor to Reno. Yeah, extend it, like, 5 hours. Granted, even if you did do one train a day, that's about what it gets now, so that's about what Reno gets now, so really, what would you be losing? I think you underestimate how far it is from Auburn to Reno, Jessica. Auburn being the current extent of the Capital Corridor. Doesn't even go all the way to Colfax. It's almost 100 miles via I-80. Yeah, exactly. That's a pretty significant distance to extend what is essentially a commuter service. Then Los Angeles to Reno via Vegas and Carson City. I don't think that line exists, Jessica. Specifically, a line between Carson City and Las Vegas. And they're not about to build that. Ambulance Corridor. They're not about to build a rail line from Las Vegas to Reno through Carson City, Jessica. Unless maybe it's a high-speed line, but even then I don't think you could justify it. Better than the proposed Interstate 11. Well, shit, it's hard to argue with that. They can activate outside of Nevada Code Monkey. Depends on where electronic slot machines are legal. Are they seriously gonna build an interstate from Las Vegas to Reno? Oh no, it's tentatively planned to run from Nogales, Arizona to the vicinity of Reno, Nevada, generally following the current routes of I-19, I-10, US 93, and US 95. Planners anticipate upgrading two existing Highway 7s to carry future I-11. US 93 in Arizona from Wickenburg to the Nevada state line. On the Mike O'Callahan Pat Tillman Memorial Bridge over the Colorado River in US 95 in Nevada from the northwestern edge of the Las Vegas valleys to Tonopah. An exact alignment for I-11 is yet to be determined outside of these sections or through the Las Vegas Valley. However, a number of corridor alternatives have been identified for further study and refinement. Originally proposed in the 2012 Moving Ahead for Progress in the 21st century. Blah, 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 blah. Los Angeles to Seattle via Vegas, Carson City, Reno, and Boise. Huh. That's an interesting one. Yes, but the difference is the government is willing to fund an interstate between those two. It's not willing to fund rail. Now, Seattle via Vegas, Carson City, Reno, and Boise, I could see working as part of a high-speed line. Coaches. That, I think, would make some sense. Coaches with slot machines. What about coaches with a blackjack table? Or poker? Or craps? Or roulette? Or showgirls? You know what? If the Rockettes could do their act on a moving train, that'd be very impressive. There's a joke in an episode of Frasier where Frasier's dad is talking about a show he saw in Vegas that he saw with his army buddies that was a topless history of the world that ended with World War II being settled by a mud wrestling contest between Ava Braun and Eleanor Roosevelt. Make my own train with blackjack and sugar. In fact, I enjoy the Futurama reference, Code Monkey. Excellent, excellent. It's a good thing I don't monetize these. The X-Rated Express. Maybe that's Amtrak's ticket. They should just have a line of Vice themed trains. So you could have the smoking train, you could have the gambling train, the alcoholic train. Keep your eye on the throttle, not the Oh man. Well, they wouldn't allow the topless girls in the cab now, would they? I think you're more worried about the engineer going from idle to run 8. The conductor is an Elvis impersonator. Yeah, you could have performance residencies like they do in Vegas. So, you know, you could have like Katy Perry do her. This just turned into X-rated trains. It really did. Good thing I marked these not for 18 on YouTube, not for kids on YouTube. The line diverging to the left is a remnant of the original alignment through the canyon that was flooded with the creation, with the building of the Oroville Dam. I love this bridge. Yeah, something like that. Oh, no, the Quincy Railroad is the short line that's on the other end of the route. Almost forgot my screenshot. This is just... I want to see this bridge in real life someday. This bridge is just awesome. I don't know how I'm going to accomplish that. Probably with some hiking. But... This is the Quincy Railroad. Never mind, that's Keddy. Where's the Quincy Railroad? Oh, wait, no, it's right here. Keddy House Track. What am I... Wait, what? Oh, wait, there we go. I was looking in the wrong spot. Yeah, they really did. Yeah, this whole thing here is the Quincy Railroad. It's a very, very small railroad. I got confused. That's, yeah. So I say, how much am I speeding at this point? Well, this bridge wasn't built in the steam era. It was built in, like, the 50s. I guess that still kind of would have been the steam era. It's one for the money, two for Reno. Tell the engineer to cope, but don't step on the train while the doors are closing. I've seen pictures taken of that bridge, so I know it's possible. I don't know that it's practical, but it is possible. That's the North Fork Bridge. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, how far would you have to hike? This does seem to be some kind of like hiking trail. Uh-oh! Good thing I got my screenshot. A third rail? That would have been interesting. I really hope we're not meeting another train at James, because I don't think we're going to make it to Oroville before it collides. Okay. We are meeting one at LC. Shoot, I've never had this happen to me outside of Sherman Hill. If I remember what I heard correctly, it has something to do with either a frame rate spike or a frame rate drop. I can't remember which one it is. It's something to do with basically a rapid change in the frame rate. I've had it happen to me a few times. Usually only with the Sherman Hill stock, which makes sense because right behind us is the ES-44 from Sherman Hill. Again, that's the explanation I remember hearing Code Monkey. I'm not sure if that's totally what it is. Yep. Yep, I know, Jessica. We're just gonna have to... We'll be running light all the way into Oroville. I think what I might do is, once we pass the other train at Elsie, if I programmed it to move off, then I'm just gonna gun the throttle and try to make it to Oroville without derailing. So that, oh yeah, for sure. For sure a bug dovetail needs to fix. Yeah, I don't remember if I programmed the other train to move off when we pass it. If we did, I'm gonna gun it and disregard the speed limit. If not, then we're just gonna finish the rest of the scenario as is. Because what's going to happen is the game is basically going to pretend that the rest of that train doesn't exist as far as the dispatcher is concerned. And so the opposing train is going to be able to move off freely because basically the position of our train is going to be calculated based on where we're at, the player train is at. And so basically... As far as the game is concerned right now, the whole train is still in one piece. But the cars we've left behind are very much still solid. And so if we let it go, there's a good chance those trains will collide and cause an AI collision before we can get to Oroville and complete the scenario. Yes, even though we know we're not. The game doesn't know we're not, and that's the problem. Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe not. That is a yellow. We might get lucky. Oh, interesting. I've never had it I've never had it happen on Stevens Pass. I don't know which direction that one is. Could have been left or red. But that doesn't mean it's going to stop at the red. It might display red, but the game might consider it a green. Ooh. This is just a really cool bridge for the fact that it's a road rail bridge with the road on top and the rails on the bottom. Oof. Well, I mean, that's technically what it should do. That's what it would do in real life. I might not have programmed the train to move off after we pass it. Oh, there you go. The other thing is there's a portal right there that I might have gotten rid of it through. I might have just dumped it into that portal. Which means we might actually be okay. Yeah, I'm sure. We're going to chance that it's going to be okay. And hopefully we make it to Oroville. Nice. lighting's very nice on this, though. How far do we have to go to Orville? We still got 17 miles. Oh, we're definitely not going to beat that other train. This also means no run-by views. Yeah. That'd look a little sad. Some cool fills on this part of the line, too. Ooh, do tell, Jessica. In the 50s, she would regularly make trips to her local C&O branch, and often would watch them shuffle cars, and on a few occasions ride with the crews on cool jobs. Ugh. Sounds so nice. I get so jealous of hearing stories like that, or reading stories like that. Just because that's absolutely 100% not something that you can do anymore. Often coming home with a coal dust covered dress. A video of some random kid might have won a contest or something, but he was given a cab ride, Class 86, Lancaster to Carlisle and back. Oh! Ah! Over Shaft, too. Oh. That would have been an awesome cab ride. Seems like her parents didn't mind since her father worked at the freight depot and her mother knew she loved trains. Well, that's nice. I'm glad they were so supportive. That wouldn't have been an acceptable hobby for a girl in the 50s, I wouldn't think. would have been seen as, you know, too boyish or whatever. Obviously, I mean, that's the wrong way of thinking about it. Nope, we might be lucky. I might not have programmed this train to move. Later went on to hire with the CNO in 71, retired with CSX in 05. Wow! That's really cool. If girls can like trains, boys can like dolls. Absolutely. It's a very, very good attitude. Hobbies are hobbies. Let people like what they like. Los Angeles Union Station and the former Santa Fe coach yards. Nice. Oh, so lucky. Best I could do was beg my parents to go take me trackside until I got a driver's license. Then I could take myself trackside. And that's what I would do, especially my senior year of high school. Usually about once a week, I'd get home from school, drive down to the tracks, and watch the last little bit of action before rush hour started on the UP West line. Sit there and do my homework. It's nice to get out of the house. I worked for the railroad as a signal mechanic. That's pretty cool. We're having so much trouble maintaining speed here. Yeah. That is really cool. Okay, yeah, I don't think that's gonna move, so. Ooh, nice. Uh-oh. What's the something? All of the above. A woman left her purse with her shoes on the seat in the first coach behind the engine, complete with wallet and cell phone. So she got off the train barefoot? Or was she wearing a different pair of shoes? Ah, okay. That makes sense. I'd feel like you noticed if you got onto a station platform without shoes. I mean, unless I guess if you've been using illicit substances. Wore heels onto the train, but changed into sneakers for walking through the train. That makes sense. I would not want to get my heel caught between, the vestibules of coaches. That sounds like it would be terrifying. If I wore heels. I mean, I wouldn't want to get any part of me stuck between vestibules. So. Glasgow subway stock. The doors aren't for normally 6 o'clock. Yeah. Well, San Diegans are kind of longish distance because there's the ones that operate between Los Angeles and San Diego, which is like a 3 or 4 hour trip. So, they have like cafe cars. So you can walk through the train. Took the local Amtrak cops a month to track her down, but then she canceled her credit cards. Yeah, as I can imagine. She got on in San Diego and got off in LA. Wow. Make sure that... Okay, yeah, that's not moving. Alright, that's good. Orville Depot, Maine in 5 miles. Oh, that was nice of her. $200. More than 200? 500? I was shocked, and then I remembered this is Southern California. I shouldn't be. $5.50. Three Benjamins and a dozen Franklins. Wait, that's just $1,500 bills. States. $5.50 USD. Wow. Must have been planning like a shopping trip or something, I guess. Is Franklin even a note? Jackson's? Well, yeah, because it's Benjamin Franklin that's on the $100 bill. Yeah, that's true too. That's a 1998 $550. Although I guess she kind of just gotten used to the idea of living without it, so I guess she figured they earned it for taking all that effort to track her down. Calculator, let's just see. In 1998, you had $150. That is equivalent to $957.32 US in 2022 dollars. She was from Beverly Hills, as we learned. So, yep. I was gonna say that's why I immediately curtailed my shock, because I was like, oh wait, this is Southern California. I was gonna say I'd have a lot harder time giving that up, but $550 or $950 is, well, that's nice. $950 is a hell of a lot of money to me. Wow, it's crazy that in 20 years, 25, inflation has driven the dollar, or has driven that up. Yeah, I was gonna say, splitting that equally, you know, $200 is not bad for a railroad cop, just out of the blue. UP 8496 West, this is dispatch. I have several westbound, so you'll perform your crew change at the south end of the double track on Oroville to keep the main clear. Make sure your tail end has cleared the switch before you bring your train to a stop. I will have a train waiting to proceed west. So we're joining back to the original alignment through the canyon. Well, we're not going to have any problem ensuring we clear the switch. Yes, we wouldn't want the tail end fouling the switch. It'd be a bad look. Well, yeah, because if we had the full train, it would be a bit of a snug fit. Yup. Using the occasional fallen flag car in the train. I do that. Depending on what DLC I'm using. But if I'm using, like, the Burlington, or the BNSF SC40-2 pack, then absolutely, I'll toss in some of the BN liveried cars. Why not? There's still plenty of them floating around. Speaking of axle counters, I was reading an article once. There was a CSX. Well, yeah, there was a CSX axle counter in, I think it was Ohio, that the train went over it and it errored, and it wasn't because there was a defect in the train. It was because the axle counter was only programmed to count to 999 axles, and the train had 1,548 axles. Mm-hmm. There's a crash long ago in the server tunnel. DMU ran into an HSD. They use axle counters because stressor failed. Yeah, I think I remember hearing about that crash. And Danny Harmon said something about the old CSX DDs not being able to count. Train length over 10,000 feet. Yeah. Man, the only crossing we've passed in this route and I blew it. Some engineers were working on the signaling and they thought that like 100 axles was clearly too. Yeah, that's right. I was like, I couldn't remember why it had failed, but yeah, that's right. The engineers were working on the signaling, so the axle counters were disabled, and so I think the driver of the DMU wasn't paying attention. I was gonna say 100 axles is 25 U.S. freight cars without any, without accounting for locomotives. Nice little bit of heritage unit action here. Alright, well, I'm pretty sure our tail end has cleared the switch, so. I suppose some old mixed freights and coal trains must have racked up a good number for UK standards since the wagons are so small. Yeah, I can imagine that. Equipment defect detector. Milepost 87897.1. Track 1. No defects. No defects. Total axle 694876. Is that how the radio transmissions from CSX defect detectors go? Because I'm more familiar with the Western Railroad ones, which is a little bit different. Yeah, that train would be stupid long. Alright. I'm not going to bother going all the way to the end. There's very little point. You can just fly up and look at the crap that's in the yard. Yep. That is correct, Code Monkey. We need 16 DPUs to open their train. Well, that completes our work for the day. Let's grab a bite and head home. It's nearly complete. Well, that was a nice run until, you know. Oh, well. So, that is going to do it for this week. Everything you see here. So that was the heavy section for the Feather River Canyon route. Everything you see here can be played on the Steam Workshop. Link is in the places. Be sure to, until we blew a knuckle. Yeah, exactly. Be sure to like the Facebook page. YouTube I'll get around to at some point. It's not going to be tomorrow. Or this weekend, or next weekend. Which brings me to the fact that there is no stream next week. I am going to be out of town for the Easter holiday. So I guess I'll take this opportunity to wish everybody a happy Easter. A week early. No TikTok. So no stream next week. Trains will be back on the 22nd. So until then, thank you all again for watching, and I will see you all in 2 weeks. Bye. Oops, I'll be right back. No OnlyFans for trains.